While other elite teams across Europe are reluctant to usher in a new generation as they hold on to the personnel that has brought them glory in the past for far too long at times, Bayern Munich aren't interested. They're pushing the envelope as far as the notion of winning while in transition is concerned. There's no stopgap in success in order for the board to be forced into investing in the squad, and they haven't been tempted by aging talent as a quick fix. With all of their triumphs, they continue to add talent, improving their squad in the midst of 8 seasons of Bundesliga dominance, the hallmark of a club that has no intention of giving their rivals an inch. They're only interested in a hegemony. Let's take a closer look at how they've ensured continued, unrelenting success while keeping the squad fresh and lately young throughout, setting an example for clubs across Europe. Jurgen Klopp's Borussia Dortmund not only gave the Bundesliga hope that Bayern would have a consistent challenger, something the league has lacked as a revolving door of other champions has come and gone, but Dortmund also raised the bar as far as what it takes to win the Bundesliga. Klopp's Dortmund set what was a Bundesliga record with their 81 points in the 2011-12 season, the first team to ever reach those heights. In that same season, Bayern finished second in the Bundesliga, runners-up to Dortmund in the DFB Pokal, where they were embarrassed 5-2, and lost to Chelsea in the Champions League final, which was played at the Allianz Arena, their home stadium. That 2011-12 season proved to be a massive turning point as it triggered an era of ruthlessness from Bayern. The 2 subsequent seasons saw them reinforce problem areas and build upon the squad they already had as they smashed Dortmund's points record of 81 by doing 10 better with 91, 25 points ahead of second place Dortmund. They then hit 90 points once again the year after that, beating second place Dortmund by 19 points, and on they went, winning title after title. But all good things must come to an end, and for Bayern, that doesn't mean the winning must stop, as they have never been one to let complacency leak into their squad, not in how they play, and not in how the board composes the team. In the last few seasons, there were thoughts that Bayern was holding on to the stars of their past for a little too long. Only last season did Robbery leave. Robbery, of course, being Arjen Robben at 35 years old when he left, and Frank Ribéry at 36. Add in the aging players like Javi Martinez, Jerome Boateng, Mats Hummels, Arturo Vidal, Thomas Müller, Robert Lewandowski, and the less concerning Manuel Neuer, and Bayern's core was looking like they were on the wrong side of their prime years. However, Hummels and Vidal were sent packing, and while the rest of the players mentioned have stayed and in some situations excelled under Hansi Flick, Bayern began putting into place their investments for the future. From an aging core to a youthful team in a matter of seasons, all the while continuing to dominate in Germany. One of Bayern's most important acquisitions as far as players you can see captaining the club in the future was Joshua Kimmich, purchased from RB Leipzig in 2015 when he was just 20 years old. The first of a slew of young talent that has been cherry-picked by Bayern early in their careers in order to ensure that Bayern's transition to the new generation is one that's constantly evolving. There's no transition period in the classic sense, where a team takes a break from challenging for titles until their next strong batch has reached maturity. They don't rest on their laurels when it comes to acquisitions, becoming known as the club that will lowball other clubs when players are in their final year of their contract, or grabs players on a free, like in the case of Robert Lewandowski, and many more. After Kimmich's transfer, they let up on acquiring younger players, at least meaningful ones, for a little bit, but the last 2 years has seen them focus on that once again. Alfonso Davies was bought from the Vancouver Whitecaps in January of 2019 for 10 million euros. I have a player bio on him in case you're interested in his story of being born into a refugee camp to signing with Bayern Munich. He's seemingly the future of the left-back position after establishing himself, well, now, in the present. Leon Goretzka arrived on a free transfer from Schalke, the future of their midfield, as he has finally settled in under Hansi Flick. Niklas Süle arrived at the age of 21 as one of the future great centre-backs at the club, alongside Luca Hernandez and even Benjamin Pavard, who can play as a centre-back or a right-back. Serge Gnabry, now a regular for Germany and Bayern, arrived for just 8 million euros. And I mean, I could go on and on, but perhaps a visualization will send the message even better. Here, from transfermarkt.com, is a potential Bayern Munich lineup if you were to only consider players that are 25 years old and younger. And in considering this lineup, you'll notice with the new arrival of Alexander Nubel from Schalke, another free transfer in order to give competition to Manuel Neuer. While Neuer has found some form again after floundering at times under Kovac, at 34 years old, we could see his quality drop a bit unless he's another Gigi Buffon type, which, I mean, you wouldn't put it past him. Again, looking at this lineup, there's still no room for 24-year-old Kingsley Coman, and of course, you can see why. Yet another young, talented player has joined Bayern's vision for the future in Leroy Sané from Manchester City. In choosing Bayern over extending his contract with Manchester City, something City tried to do over and over again, you can look at it plainly and say, well, he's a young German, and what young German could turn away from the appeal of playing at the greatest club within their home country? Or there's another way of looking at it, and a lot of it has to do with the overall focus of this video. Perhaps Sané could see the direction that Bayern is going in and how he can be at the forefront of world football if he is to be a success at Bayern and in turn help Bayern be a success on the European stage, which, let's be honest, will most likely happen. At 24 years old, with the experience he has in the Premier League and playing under one of the best coaches of all time, he'll immediately be seen as a top player at the club. A club full of young talent that is responsibly building towards the future and building towards European glory. Once again, this lineup of under 25 players, for the most part, is already full of experience at the top level. I mean, there are 3 World Cup winners within it. The most vulnerable position, for lack of a better word, would be the striker position, where Xerxes is meant to be the heir to Robert Lewandowski eventually. A tall order, especially considering how Lewandowski seems to be improving with age. He looks better now than he did at 28. Xerxes, the 19-year-old Dutch Academy product, is lacking in experience, though his cameos have been quite promising, scoring match-winning goals this season against Freiburg and Wolfsburg as he came off of the bench, as well as an opener in Bayern's 2-1 win over Borussia Mönchengladbach when Robert Lewandowski wasn't available. And with the brand of attacking football that Hansi Flick is employing, and with the average age of the squad dropping lower and lower all the time, the draw of playing for Bayern will be hard to resist. Speaking of Flick, let's talk about why players will want to play for the man who is commandeering this squad. Carlo Ancelotti once said that, quote, Bayern Munich will win the Bundesliga with their hands still in their pockets. I must admit, I don't enjoy Bayern's games as there's so little competition. This was, of course, prior to Ancelotti taking the Bayern Munich job, where hindsight would perhaps tell us that he did exactly that. Won the Bundesliga with his hands in his pockets, as he was sacked in his second season when performances took a hit, and there were rumors of a complete lack of intensity, something that is part of Bayern's DNA. That ruthlessness that Bayern is known for was allegedly non-existent under Ancelotti, and rumors of Bayern players running their own training sessions were rife, with Arjen Robben famously saying that his son's training sessions were more intense than Ancelotti's. When your status as the big fish in a small pond has been confirmed to you season after season, it will be easy for complacency to leak into your squad, but the Bayern board won't allow that. While Borussia Dortmund are no doubt a strong side, they have lacked in a winning mentality since Jurgen Klopp left them, often choking in the second half of the season when results are really needed. And so, during the 2019-2020 season, with Niko Kovac laboring at the helm for Bayern and with Borussia Dortmund's stunning attack firing on all cylinders, it felt as though this was to be the season where Dortmund stopped Bayern short of their 8th consecutive title. With Kovac getting sacked following a 5-1 trouncing at the hands of his former side, Eintracht Frankfurt, a Dortmund victory felt all the more plausible. Then Bayern no doubt made the best choice possible in looking to Hansi Flick, someone who had more potential of being a permanent successor to Niko Kovac, as opposed to yet another band-aid solution to Bayern's season, where they would have to reset in the following summer. While Bayern did indeed gamble on hiring Flick, who had no previous experience at the helm of a first division club, that's not to say he doesn't have experience, which we'll get to later. Flick has managed to reignite the spark within Bayern. He's proven to be an extremely competent coach and one that's worth hanging on to oversee this transition that Bayern is undergoing, and perhaps even beyond that. The biggest change in Bayern was seen on the pitch, where Kovac's former tactics of playing rather negatively had been swapped for some sparkling, attacking football, instead of sitting deeper, Bayern had a higher defensive line and pressed like a team that was willing to dictate the play, willing to control matches. Here's an excerpt from an article written by Rafa Honigstein for The Athletic. "We would sit back, win back the ball near our own box, but then had 80 meters to go to get to the opposition goal," a senior player tells The Athletic. "We weren't playing our football." Flick certainly started on the right foot with a 4-0 drubbing of Borussia Dortmund, and while they lost 2 matches in a row to Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayern then went on a ridiculous, invincible run from December 14th until the end of the season, winning 19 matches and drawing just once, securing 58 of the 60 available points from the remainder of the season. So how did he do it? Beyond Robert Lewandowski's importance, which has been absolutely key, Flick has become a friend and sometimes a father to some of the squad, an important aspect to developing the youngsters Bayern has acquired. But he's also there for the experienced players. In May of 2019, the German national team coach Jogi Löw announced that he would no longer be calling up the likes of Thomas Müller, Jerome Boateng, and Mats Hummels, all of whom were Bayern players at the time. This shot to the ego and the confidence of these players will no doubt have affected their play, and with rumors of Boateng leaving the club and Müller unhappy as a fringe player within Kovac's negative system, the fact that both have once again become important pieces within Flick's Bayern resurgence is quite impressive and would have been hard to predict back in 2019. While Boateng has done well to stave off the claims that he was no longer capable of playing at this level under Kovac, Thomas Müller has absolutely flourished, setting a new Bundesliga record for assists under Flick and perhaps becoming the most influential piece of Bayern's attack behind Lewandowski. Perhaps Flick was also able to command some respect from the Germans amongst the squad, as he was the assistant to Jogi Löw during Germany's World Cup 2014 triumph, and already having the trust of some of Bayern's most senior players, gaining that of the rest of the squad comes much more easily. And while he may not be the first manager to come to mind when thinking of tacticians, Flick's trust is felt by the players. He delivers clear instructions on how he wants them to play, a system the players enjoy playing, which is key, and he balances youthful exuberance and senior experience. Flick seems to be the perfect man to guide Bayern through this transitional period, as said before, and not just guide them through it for the next coach to excel with the foundations Flick has laid down, but help them to win trophies while they transition. The mark of a truly great club. To sum up Flick's impact, here's Bayern Munich sporting director Hasan Salihamidzic speaking of the coach with The Athletic. "Hansi has really done well in promoting the team's strengths of playing attacking football and keeping a well-balanced defense at the same time," Salihamidzic tells The Athletic. "He communicates really well with the players. Practice sessions have been hard work but also fun, and he really prepared the team well for every game. Hansi is hungry for success, and so are the players. It's a great fit." This approach of ensuring there's always skilled, young competition in the squad from Bayern's board, coupled with Flick's competitiveness while remaining an ally to his squad, will no doubt ensure Bayern's dominance for years to come, and makes them a shining example of how to build and manage a squad for many elite clubs around the world. They continue to win while in transition, or perhaps it's more accurate to say that they never have a fall off because they are always transitioning, they're always evolving, and always thinking 2 to 3 years ahead. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and want to find your way back to the channel easily, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. But other than that, I thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!